Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation that's going to be somewhat mundane, that's going to hopefully lull you a bit, maybe relax you, or just stay with us and chill. We hope that you feel free to drift off and to, more importantly, listen and sleep. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
And I'm your co-host, Nidhi Khanna.
And Nidhi, this is a special episode.
It is, Marco.
Because this is a 45-minute episode that we're recording for our Patreon page. Now, if you're listening on our regular podcast through iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, through the Pippa feed, you're only going to hear 26 minutes. But if you want to hear the entire 45, we invite you to go to our Patreon page. And that's patreon.com/The Insomnia Project, where you get all kinds of bonuses and fun things. And people seem to really be enjoying it, the feedback that we're getting from them.
There's a lot of photos of Xena sleeping in various different positions of the humorous kind.
They're adorable, and we love them, and we hope you love them too. So if you want to, support our podcast and really enjoy the extras we can give you, follow us on patreon.com.
Please do.
So this is going to be the 26-minute version of the 45. And if you are a Patreon, you'll hear the whole 45. Nidhi, I just recently had to excavate my basement because we're getting renos down there.
Oh, yeah.
And so a couple of interesting things have popped out of my basement. So I'm going to tell you what came out, and then I want you to give me a memory or a thought or your feelings on that particular item.
Okay.
Is that cool?
That's fine. Can I close my eyes?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course. And I invite our listeners to do the same. A round globe where the ocean is black and all the countries are different cool colors. From the 70s, I guess, or the early 80s, it was a black oceaned globe.
And I'm supposed to tell you, sorry, what am I supposed to do?
Like what you think of globes, your experience of globes, anything that globe brings to you.
Got it. Okay. So when I think of one of those globes, I think about, first of all, I only really referenced or ever saw really the ones that were just colored, the ocean being blue and the countries being all the different colors like pink and yellow and green, and I just remember always spinning the globe.
Okay.
Right? That's something that you always do. And then the other image of globes that comes to mind is I think of like old homes with like libraries.
Yes.
And everything's kind of reddish brown, oaky wood, and the globe is this huge globe that sits in this kind of wooden frame.
Yes.
And then an evil person comes out and like spins the globe. Because there's always an evil character that spins the globe.
All right, fair enough. You love mystery and thriller novels and detective novels. For me, that globe, picture it. Have you ever seen the globe where you open it up and there's booze inside?
No, I haven't.
You've never seen those globes?
No.
They're like really big globes, much like you described. And then if you kind of like lift the hood off the globe, inside is a decanter full of whiskey or scotch or cognac. Yeah, neat.
Like that.
I know what to get you for the next holiday.
Yeah.
It's huge. It'd be the size of this table, but still.
Well, I'll find a place for it.
All right, next thing out of my basement.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
A microscope.
Spying on your neighbors.
Have you ever used a microscope in school?
Oh, no, microscope. I was thinking telescope.
Yeah, no, microscope.
Sorry.
Okay.
Microscope. Yes. Now, unless you're a chemist of some kind, I'm not quite sure what it is, or a biologist. What would you be doing with a
It was a kid's microscope, so I had it ever since I was a kid, and you had little slides.
You put it on the little slides.
Yeah,
You your
and
finger.
Exactly.
And yeah.
It even had what are those things called? Sea monkeys came with it. So I guess you could. I never did it, but you could hatch the sea monkeys and look at them under the microscope.
Really?
Yeah, I never did that, but I had a microscope.
Huh.
All right, next thing.
Okay.
A projector with a projector screen.
Why are these things in your basement?
They're in my basement. This was my grandmother's. I inherited.
Your grandmother had a projector with a projector screen?
Yeah, because she had a Super 8 camera, right? So we would take, like, before you had video, you would take these Super 8 films, and then you would have to project it. So she had a projector and the screen to project the Super 8 films that we made.
That's probably worth something, no?
I know, but it's big and bulky, so I'm going to see if I can try to sell it.
Yeah.
Because when am I going to look? I don't even know where to get those Super 8s now, where they might be. And then I have...
But wouldn't the projector screen be worth anything? Or the projector? Well, no, you're right.
I'm
Like,
sure
where
there's
you-
collectors who would buy it, and
Yeah.
I will try to sell it. Because it's just... It does remind me of my grandmother. I have other things that remind me of my grandmother, including a framed picture of a painting of a bullfighter and a bull. So I'm keeping that. It's huge, Nitty. See the size of your fridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it on its side.
Oh
That's
my
the size.
God.
Yeah. My grandmother had that painted, and it was above. It was in her family room area, the TV
Yeah,
room, whatever, the
yeah.
living room, ever since I was a little kid. And so I guess it was really popular in the 60s, bullfighting
Fighting.
motif and stuff.
Yeah.
So I now have that picture.
And do you have any, like, vivid memories of watching something on the Super 8 projector?
That's a great question. I remember using the Super 8 when I was a kid, being really excited to like press the button and it would make a like clicking kind of sound that
Sure.
was kind of cool. And I'm sure I watched some of the things that I may have. I believe there is a Super 8 film of a trip to Venice, I want to say. So maybe a St. Mark's Square and pigeons.
Perfect.
So I'm going to go with that.
Great.
All right. Are you ready for something else from my basement?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I like this game.
Okay, so you know I used to collect these, and I've stopped, and I've gotten rid of many of them. Salt and pepper shakers. Do you remember when I was collecting
Remember the
them?
orange ones?
I still have the orange ones. So
Okay.
they look like little oranges. But remember I was collecting them for a while, Nadine?
Yeah.
I'm glad I stopped. I don't know why I got on that. I told you I'm an old British woman trapped inside this body. Because I love tea, I love sconces or scones, and even sconces on the wall. I love vases or vases, however you want to describe them. And I was really into salt and pepper shakers. Please, our listeners, do not send me salt and pepper shakers. I don't want them. I've gotten rid of them. I only have a trusted few
You
that
should have just gifted them to everyone you know.
I did give some cool ones away.
Yeah,
to-
that would be such a great gift.
Now I feel bad. I never gave you. Where's your salt and pepper shaker?
Right here.
Oh, they're pretty. They look very expensive, but they don't have a funk quality
No.
to it.
No.
Okay.
Zero fun.
We got to get you some funk.
Yeah.
Salt and The problem is, who uses salt and pepper shakers?
Nobody.
That's the problem.
Nobody.
Because I like my pepper ground fresh.
Yeah, me too.
And I
So
like
I-
Malden salt, which is
Right.
never going to come out of a salt and pepper shaker.
No. They're
When
kind
was
of
the last
decorative
time?
now. Oh, I would not trust
The salt or
taking-
pepper.
or the pepper in there.
Okay, so here's a tip for our listeners. Did you notice this? That every once in a while I give these like random tips.
And let me just public service announcement to all our listeners. Again, any tip we give or any advice that seems remotely
Medical in nature.
medical or any sort of expertise like information should just be disregarded or taken with a grain of salt.
Definitely take it with a grain of salt. We don't advise you doing any of these things, so that's our warning. Rather than putting salt and pepper in your pepper shaker, put cinnamon in one.
Oh.
So you always have cinnamon if you have a little coffee and you need a little pinch of cinnamon because it's accessible, right?
Yes, I like that.
And then in the other one, you can put paprika or
Oh.
a spice of some sort because sometimes you'll need a little something in your like
That's actually a good tip.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to say something
medical
or dangerous. but
we did
those
we
are
did
actually really great tips.
we had an awesome warning for something that probably wouldn't cause harm, but nonetheless. So those are my tips. So there you go. So salt and pepper shaker.
Sounds good.
Masks. There was some masks down there.
Now we're getting into an interesting basement-like inventory. Masks of what kind?
So where I had the salt and pepper shaker collection, my wife had a mask collection.
But like,
Theatrical masks. So there was a
Okay.
lot of Korean masks.
Okay.
Different Korean characters, I guess, that would be in their theatrical, traditional theatrical productions. Does that make sense?
Yes, we should probably remind the listeners that Amanda lived in Korea
That's
for
right.
a while.
Yeah. And she loves Korea, and she's an actor. So for her, being close to the masks of the theater in Korea was really important to her. So she brought some of those home. And there's other masks too. There's a Commedia dell'arte mask that was there. There was a Indonesian mask, and just masks all over the world that we had a few of them kind of hanging in our basement. So I had to delicately take them off.
But you're not going to get rid of those.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
I think Amanda wants to donate them to a theater school or something, so that they can be admired for the cultural representation of theater throughout the world.
Yeah.
Because she's got quite a few.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so masks.
Okay. Is there more?
There is. I'm just trying to think now, because those were the highlights.
Oh, those were the highlights.
Those are the highlights. The rest is
I was getting into this game.
Of Christmas lights and things.
Yes.
Clearly in the basement. Anything special?
Was there anything that you're like, oh, I've been looking for this, and it's here?
Yeah, there was, and I'm sure there was. A good shovel was down there that I could have used for the winter, and I had a bad shovel, and then I was like, oh, there's the good shovel.
What constitutes a good shovel?
It was okay. So here's where our listeners who live in cold climates will understand this, and people who live in warm climates are going to be like, what's going on here? So, Nidhi, you know as well as I do, when you have to shovel snow, you need a sturdy shovel that has a good, strong grip, because if the snow is heavy, you want to be able to pick it up and toss it where you need to. I want it wide enough to pick up a pretty nice load of snow, but not too wide that it's too heavy to pick up. And I want the scoop part, or the shovel part, I guess you could say, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The blade of the shovel.
Yes.
I want it to be strong, and I don't want metal. I want a strong, hard plastic.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No metal.
Yeah, because metal tends to be a bit heavier.
Yeah. And
already with the weight of the snow, this was just a great, perfect size. So I found 3 shovels down there.
3?
Yeah. So, well, we live in Canada, so I have. And Nidhi, you've seen.
I know. I see. Like, I'm so 3 shovels.
But Nidhi, you know how much I have to actually shovel, right?
Yes, I know. That's why. Yeah. So Marco's actual shoveling area is maybe 3 steps.
4 plus the front landing, and then the little sidewalk in front of my house.
Okay. Well.
I know. I grew up with a huge driveway, and it pales in comparison. But I have a small shovel for my car.
To shovel the roof, you mean?
No, in case you get stuck.
The tires and stuff. Yeah.
And then I had the shovel that I used, which was not a good shovel. And then I had salt for the road salt, or salt to melt the snow, and it was the environmental kind of salt.
Okay.
But it must have gotten wet because it's just one big rock. So I don't know if I should toss it or whatnot. So there was that. So there was like the winter collection.
The winter collection.
I found some tiles.
Oh, what kind of
You know how when you lay tiles, you keep a couple extra?
Yeah.
Well, I found a bunch of extra.
For what area?
Every area, including tiles that I no longer have. I had a nice little pile of tiles.
That's why your buns profile, like there was all these things popping up on buns, and it kept going, because I have my notifications for that page to be just set to like if friends.
Okay.
Otherwise I was getting way too many notifications.
Sure.
And so it was like every 2 minutes I was getting a pop-up from Marco who's posted something.
And Buns is Buns international?
I think so.
If you're not familiar with it, it's
like an app that's also
on Facebook,
page,
right?
Where you can trade things essentially. Yeah. So if Marco has tiles that he no longer needs, he can put them up on Buns, and whoever wants tiles can get that, and he'll say, "Hey, I'll give you these tiles, and I'm looking for, I don't know, a bottle of wine, a token,
a gift card, a plant."
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings me to the cool thing that came out of my basement.
Ooh, okay.
So you might want to call it up. Oh no, it's not. I took it off Buns. It was a Farber Brother. Looked like an ashtray with a glass lid that had a fish on the lid. But I knew it wasn't an ashtray, but I didn't know what it was. So I was like, all right, folks on Buns, if anybody knows what this is, maybe you can enlighten me. And if anybody wants it, you can give me whatever you think it's worth. And I knew it was worth about anywhere between $14 and $30, because I looked up Farber Brothers dishes. Sure. I guess I would call it dishes and ashtrays. And that was around the price, depending on. but I didn't know what this was. So a bunch of people wrote ashtray, 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 but I knew it wasn't an ashtray because it didn't have a lip for
The cigarette.
the cigarette or the cigar. Do you know?
Sure.
You know how an
Yep.
ashtray has a little
Kind of like a groove.
a groove? Yeah, it didn't have that, and it had a little fish on the top, like a delphinic fish, like a Greek, like you would see in ancient Greek motifs. You know that fish that has like the tail that kind of curls upon itself? Okay, so it had that kind of look to it.
Okay.
But it didn't look Greek, it just had that on the top. And so people are chiming in, everybody's saying it's an ashtray. And then finally this wonderful, wonderful person on Facebook, she's like, I know what this is. Nitty, do you have any guesses?
No,
onto
I'm
it?
really
Okay.
trying to think about what this could be.
Yeah, so it was a relish dish.
What?
Yeah, so you would put relish, like not necessarily green relish as we know it, but any sort of relish or
Jam type of thing?
Yeah. Not so much jam, but more savory jams, I guess. Is that what a
Okay.
relish is?
I guess so.
Okay, anything like that. It didn't have the relish spoon, but I knew it had a slot. So if you look up on your computer, Farber Brothers relish tray. So Nitty's going to look at that, and you're going to hear probably the clicking of her fingers because she always has the computer close to the mic. But so, that tapping can relax people, right?
Yeah, it's
ASMR.
pretty-
So there you go.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So I had one of those. Sure enough, Nitty, right away someone messages me and says, hey, what do you want for this, right? And so I'm like, well, whatever you have to offer. And so he offered me something that I didn't really want or need. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, how about booze? And so then we came to a lovely compromise. And so he's like, I really want this. So I'm like, if you can come tonight, it's yours, right? Because my thing is, whenever I post stuff, it's like first come, first serve. I'm not saving
100%.
stuff. I'm not entertaining the idea of like meeting you downtown. You come to my house or to the Starbucks near my house, and I will trade with you. And I also advise people, if you're going to do trades, not to go to people's homes, to meet in a
Yes.
public location.
I feel like that's just good life advice.
There you go.
Don't meet strangers in their homes.
Right. So he came to my home. I actually met him outside. And he was really happy to have it. And I said, oh, what are you going to do with this? He goes, I have a friend who's a real big fan of Fish, the band.
Oh.
And he's like, I'm going up north, so I want to bring in this thing that has a little fish on it. So I'm like, great.
That's amazing.
That's that bun story. But I listed a ton of stuff on blenders, bowls, a cooler. You don't need a cooler, do you? It's huge.
Oh, really? How big?
It's like the size of that bin you have there.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, sorry.
But I could do the blender if you don't.
It's a small little blender. Yeah, it's yours.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I'll
for
take the
sure.
blender.
There you go. Listen, you're hearing a trade live.
This is how you do it, folks. what do you want for it?
What kind of booze do you think a blender's worth? What's funny is
I have that half a bottle of Bacardi there.
oh no, I have so much rum at home. What's funny is I don't need your booze because I'll just drink it when I'm here. So it really doesn't make sense for me to take your booze. Nitty, I'm going to give you that blender. You're going to enjoy it. It'll make me happy. You'll probably blend during the show.
Actually, Marco, like a few of these things are like the things in my home are like Marco Amanda gifts.
Cast-offs.
Well, I mean the desk in my
That's
tiny.
right.
I have the tiniest. What was listed as a second bedroom, and in no way, shape, or form would ever be a second bedroom.
The only way it could be a second bedroom is if you were to hang a pole across the length of your room and someone was like a vampire and hung upside down.
Yeah, exactly. And so one of the issues was how am I? So I was like, okay, I'll make it a study, but how am I going to get a desk in here? Because there's no desks that are so small that could actually fit into the angle, the limited angles in the room, right? And then you had this amazing wooden desk that you were like, do you want this? And I was like, that's actually the perfect size.
And I love that desk, so I was so happy.
Yeah, it's a great desk.
that you got it because it's been in our family for years and
Really?
years. Yeah, I think my uncle made it.
Oh,
My
wow.
uncle, who's a carpenter,
Yeah,
made it.
feels like
Yeah.
it's and the drawers are nice and wide.
Yeah.
Like you can get a lot of things in there. It's really, really amazing. So
And that's another tip. If you have things that you love but you no longer have room for or whatnot, just ask your friends and say, hey, what, especially if you're cleaning out your basement, you say, I always ask my friends, what do you need? Okay, Nitty. Something else has come to mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, relish is considered a condiment eaten with plain food to add flavor.
Oh, so salsa?
Yes.
Because chips can be very bland, right?
Yeah.
And then you add salsa, and
So
it's
salsa
delight.
is a relish.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
I know.
All right, Nitty. I pulled out 4. Now, it was 4 items with only 3 spoons, so an errant spoon is missing, MIA.
Okay.
Soft-boiled egg containers.
Ooh.
Do you know what that is?
I do. Like you put the egg in there.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know if I'm calling it the right thing, but it's basically when you make a soft-boiled egg, it holds the egg for you. So it's like a little cup,
Sure.
but it's this one's a fancy-looking thing.
Right.
It has like a...
But it's only got 3 spoons. I'm pulling up your buns like.
Okay. I didn't list that one on buns because I was like...
Oh.
So here's my thing, right? A good friend of ours, Trevor Martin, who's been on this show,
Yes.
loves soft-boiled eggs. So
Right.
I'm like, but I don't know if he has one or not. I know that he's had some in the past, but he may no longer have any, or he may not like the ones he currently has.
Sure.
So I was like, I can always offer it to Trevor.
Sure.
But then I was like, I haven't had a soft-boiled egg in a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to make myself a soft-boiled egg and see if I like this, and maybe I'll keep them.
Sure.
So I made myself, the next day I made myself 2 wonderfully soft-boiled eggs.
And so now you're gonna keep them?
No, because I'm not a fan of soft-boiled eggs, and I
don't
realize
like
it.
soft-boiled
I love eggs, but I much rather have a egg over easy or poached egg over
interesting.
soft-boiled egg. So
I only like eggs where the yolk is cooked.
okay.
Just fun fact about me.
No, that's great to know, because here's the thing. If you and I go out for breakfast and we order eggs Benny, I always want it soft.
Yes.
And you'll want it well cooked.
Yeah.
And so I won't order my eggs Benny if you do, because that means it's hard for them to time the two, and more likely mine's going to be overcooked.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so that's... Do you like eggs Benny?
I do. It's not my go-to choice.
So then we'll never have this problem,
No.
you and I.
Probably not.
Great. So that's another interesting thing that came out of my basement. And see, the more I'm talking about it, people are going to be listening to this and being like, why are we going through his basement right now?
Listen, basements are... should we tell the story about what you found in the basement too?
Yeah, we can. I don't want to scare anyone
Oh,
on
right.
the podcast. I found when we lifted up the carpet, there was some paint, and it was in a weird sort of pattern that looked like it could be. I don't know.
Something nefarious,
Yeah,
but it wasn't.
But it wasn't. It was just paint. So there you go. I will say this though. Now I forgot what I was going to say. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you. I found a bunch of spoons. You know how people used to collect spoons?
Yes.
Well, my mom had a huge spoon collection,
Yes.
and then we inherited it. So we've got all these little spoons. So what do
What do you do with these tiny spoons?
All right, are you ready
Like, Marco, look at these.
Are you ready for another tip, Nitty?
I
Okay.
am so excited
Okay,
right
so-
now, and you are too.
So here's the thing with those spoons. Once again, full disclosure, do
We are
not follow.
No expertise is available here whatsoever.
Consult your doctor.
Use at your own risk.
Exactly. You did not hear it here. But if you have a sugar bowl, throw about 5 or 6 of those spoons in there. They're from all over the different parts of the world. Someone comes over for tea or coffee. You just say, grab the spoon with the sugar, and keep that spoon and stir your teapot or your teacup.
So keep the spoons in the sugar bowl?
Yeah. So like rather than or place them with the
Yes.
with the coffee
Yes.
or whatnot. But if you always have like 4 or 5 in there,
Then it's
even if you forget or someone uses, because sometimes you take the sugar out and some people might accidentally stir with the sugar spoon.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh no, what did I do? Well, if you have those little spoons in there, it doesn't really matter. And you might get a spoon from Holland And I might get a spoon from
And what a discussion we would have.
Lebanon
Yeah.
and stuff.
Ooh.
And like, isn't that cool? Here's another tip.
That's how we could do every place is the same.
That's right.
It's like we sell spoons.
It's interesting you should say that, because one of the things I asked Daniela was, what does she collect when she travels? And she says, fridge magnets.
Oh, okay.
And you know how sometimes your fridge can be like covered in magnets, and sometimes some of the magnets might not be your favorite. I take any of those, let's call them errant magnets, or your least favorite magnets.
Sure.
And I put them on my dryer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I don't know
Nice.
why. It doesn't do anything in particular, but they're
Makes
there.
you happy.
I guess.
But now you're getting a new dryer.
I'm getting a new dryer. Yeah. So I'm trying to think, what's in your basement? I've been talking about everything that I find in my basement.
My basement's really creepy.
We won't talk about Nidhi's basement.
My
It's not
basement.
creepy. I just think it's not the nicest room in your place. And so for you
It's
going,
unfinished,
yeah,
right?
you
So-
going from this beautiful area that we're
Yes.
recording in right now to your basement isn't so nice.
Yeah,
It's kind of
really,
cellar. It's kind of
It is. It's very cellarish, but it's where my laundry is,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's also great storage. Like there's a lot of room for storage. So there's a bunch of stuff down there that I'm like, oh, just like storage boxes and
Sure.
things like that.
That's right.
And so we will. We hope that you continue to listen, and we're excited to continue with this project.
Yeah.
The Insomnia project.
You got it.
We hope you listen and sleep.